Hey guys, so we're gonna get this all figured out here. It's a crazy morning this morning, as it always is before we open shop. And so we're like running around half dressed. So we thought we would do just like a little bit of a 1790s dressing video for you, and we can answer some of your questions. I know it's early. Like normally I'm not up at this time, but anytime we are set up and running shop, it's always early hours. So we started getting dressed, and we're just going to kind of talk back and forth as we get dressed. So if you have questions, let us know. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to show you, you're going to do a gown?
I am, yes.
Okay, so Amber's going to do a gown, I'm going to do a jacket, and we're just going to kind of go step by step. My stays are already on for convenience, but I'll talk about how I lace them because I haven't tightened them yet to their fullest tightness. And then Amber is going to show you how she puts her stays on, laces them in the front, and then flips them around. So here we go, 1790s. Yay!
So the first thing that we did is, of course, we have on our shift, and these shifts for the 1790s, if you want to show off any sort of décolletage, it's going to be a very wide neck, and so I'm going to do this a lot just to preserve some of your eyes. But this is all made of linen, and this is going to be the closest layer to our skin, and it'll keep our clothes a lot cleaner because we'll be sweating into these. But the linen wicks away all of your sweat and makes you feel cooler, so it really does help when you're doing this. We were both wearing our bed jackets, and you can see they're so stylish, aren't they?
They're so stylish and dirty and everything.
Right. These are what we wear in the morning when we're all groggy and just trying to put things together.
As well.
When you're too tired to actually put real clothes on. Alicia.
Okay. So I was going to show garters first. For those of you guys that do them, I switched over to silk stockings from Burnley and Trowbridge, and I haven't had to use garters, which is amazing because I'm not a really big fan of them. Because I wasn't using like wool tape. You know, wool tape is really good. But I was just like having problems with garters, always falling down. So now that I use the wool stockings from Burnley and Trowbridge, I don't have to have them, which is awesome. But I'm going to show you guys how to tie your garters, your ribbon garters. And I know Paul Dickfoss has done some stuff. We got, you're very welcome. Has done some information and some research onto women's garters, and so far he has said that he has not seen any leather garters. Now I'm going to say that I was wearing leather garters just because they held everything up really well. I made them. I had these cute little buckles. And
Patrick's crashing the party.
Come on in.
He's already dressed and ready
he's already
to go.
dressed. This is like...
He's the dapper man today.
This never happens, so we are ahead of schedule. This is awesome.
I can show it to you.
Okay, so here you go. Here's your garter. You have to have, so it's a little bit more than a yard. You're going to go like this. We made a video on YouTube on how to do this. Okay, so this is going to go around your leg. You're going to stick this one through, and then you're going to tie it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this works. Oh, there went all of our pins.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Sexy
there we are.
Sexy leg. All right, so remember, guys, you're folding them in half, right? And either above or below. I've seen it both ways. Okay, you're gonna loop one of them through this loop right here, and then you're gonna rotate. And not fall over. And then you're going to tie pretty bows. I find that they stand up better above my knee than below my knee. So now you know how to tie garters. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next thing. Now Amber's got different shoes on than I have on. I was gonna wear my pointed shoes today, but then I decided not to because my jacket that I chose is more like really late 1780s, early 1790s. So, okay, so Amber.
Okay, let's make sure we're still in the frame. We keep messing with it just
I know.
so everyone can see the best levels. So my shoes, I'm wearing a pointy version of some just normal flats. And I put in a search term on Amazon for gladiator sandals flats, or gladiator sandal flats, and this is what we got. So they're really nice pointed toe, and at this point in time you would see a kitten heel, a very small kitten heel, for the late 1700s. And so since I'm going to be dressing myself up in a 1770s gown but doing the accessories like a 1790s do, that's why I'm wearing these shoes as opposed to regular buckle ones like Alicia's.
I can't even take mine off because I just tighten them like mine.
But we have these on first, not just because it's all grass, but by the time you put your stays on, it's very hard to lace or put on your shoes because you can only bend at the waist. You can't kind of move around with the rest of your body. So, so yeah, stockings and shoes first.
Garters, if you are wearing them.
Thank you, Becky.
So here's the deal. Amber's stays are a bit more for the period. She has a little bit different cut than I do. Mine are a little bit older. Mine are a little bit like 50s, 60s, 70s-ish. And I know, we've all been there. I think it was Laura who said she hates when she forgets to put her shoes on first.
I know, it's such a detriment. You're like, no! But yeah, so the cut of my stays vary from Alicia's, mainly because there's more of a scoop to the front of it.
Here, so actually, can we turn them around?
Yeah.
So check this out. This is what we're talking about here. It's cut more at an angle.
I can bring it up a little bit for you. So what this does is it's actually going to push the bosom more forward rather than flattened. And you can see how Alicia's is.
Okay.
If she turns to the side, this is very relatively flat.
Right.
But she can get that same silhouette like she just did by actually pulling her stays down.
Pulling it tight here, pulling it down, and making it looser
and
here.
making it looser in the bosom.
So so I've always wanted to make a pair of like stays like Amber, but I just haven't got around to it. So I'm sure there was ladies who were not able to afford the latest fashion and stays, and they were trying to make do with their old stays. And so that is exactly what I'm trying to do. So so my back is laced. Now these is stays. You guys have to understand that when I made these stays, the back was perfectly straight down. Like it was, it had,
go off screen.
Yeah, it had the nice, you know, like 3-inch gap in the back. But like, let's face it, it's 10, 15 years later. So I've grown a little bit. So my stays have grown with me. They're not like exactly perfect in the back, but they work really well. So this is what I'm going to do. Mine are a little bit older, as we said. I'm going to lace. This is my modesty petticoat under here. It does have the two pieces. Amber is working on her stays. So,
and I can explain after you're done what I'm doing.
Yeah, so basically I'm just lacing, and then I'm going to keep this this side not as tight, because otherwise it'd be like really super tight. But we're gonna not make it as tight, and that's going to help create the same silhouette that Amber would create with her stays.
So what I'm doing with my pair of stays, because they're not front lacing, you have to have them either laced in the back or you start lacing them in the front and then you turn them around. I'm holding this up here so you guys don't get an eyeful. But first things first, I always start with my stays with the top thing laced. I like to go from the top down because if I pull, the final pull, if I'm doing it myself, will be my waist, and it'll nip it in just a little bit because I'm vain like that. So, so this is how I lace it, and I'm going to adjust. Oh, my hair looks great. Okay. So, as you can see, you pull it just enough snugly that it will kind of keep itself up. I don't have to hold it up right now. And like I said, I go top down, and these are spiral bound, which means that you can't have them ready to go and then cinch them in like you can for later corsets, which are crisscross laced. So it takes a really long time every time you want to get dressed, but yeah, so you're gonna go in. So I just went in this one, and then you go under. Oh wait. Oh, did I do a bad thing? No, I didn't. Okay. I confused myself.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I went in this one, and then you're gonna come out this guy, if I can find it.
So there you go.
So I'm going to content myself to doing this over that way, because it does take a while, as with everything I do, it seems. And Alicia can explain to you a little bit more about what she's doing to get herself ready.
This is so crazy. Oh, this is so crazy. There's not enough coffee in the world to help me where I am right now. Okay, so this is how I'm going to show you guys how to tie off your stays. All right, this is how I do it. I'm not saying this is like the only way to do it, because I'm sure there's other ways to do it. Yeah, I can't even do it right now. I can't even do it. Okay, so I loop it through, and then this is one way. Normally I tie a slip knot, but the knot stays. So all right, so my string's very long. My string is a actual, like, they deliver the paper to our tent. Isn't that awesome, you guys? We have paper delivery to our tent shop. So I just wind the rest up on my finger, and I just throw it in here. Here I have some medical tape because, as I said, these are old. I did have some reeds poking through, but I think it's nice to see like what happens with old stays. Like, how long have these stays been, been used, and what have you done to patch them? So I do have a bizarre hip thing right here. So this tab is broken, but that is because of my bizarre hip. The next thing I'm going to do is put in my my busk. So we sell these busks in the shop. One side is curved, and concave. The other side is convex. What you're going to do is you're going to put the convex side, the side that pushes out towards your body. The side that curves in is going out. I hope this makes sense. Okay, so here we go. It's going to go down the front. I know we were just talking about this in one of the groups. I don't put anything in. Mine stays just fine once I push it down. The main point of this is to get this belly control here. Oh, see, I didn't tighten that. That's okay. To get the belly control to help push this out a little bit more to give it that shape. And by having a curved busk, that's what it's going to do. So you can see how, like, I'm tight here, and then I'm a wider here. And the busk is in. So now I just have to adjust my shift. And 1790 styles, you need a big hole in your shift, a big top hole. So, like, some might think shifts are just general to the period, but they did actually change. I think Sharon Bernstein has done quite a bit of research on shifts, so she would be a good lady to talk to about that. The one thing that I noticed just by trial and error is that when I started wearing like 1790s clothes, my shift tops were too small, so they needed to be bigger. And of course, we don't have drawstrings on. I think I've only seen one that had a drawstring in original, and I don't even know if that had been futzed with at any time. So I don't even know if that one was an actual original. So we have a question here. When you do it every day, you get fast at it. I can get dressed in a half an hour to 45 minutes, including a simple, pretty hairstyle for under a cap. Yes, when you when you do that, when you do dress every day, it does get really fast. It's always a lot slower when we're like, when we're working and talking.
This would be a lot faster if you weren't doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing is my stay lace broke, so I'm using just a piece of twill tape, and it doesn't have an easy end to use, so it takes a while.
Yeah. But I think she's right. There's a lot of myths around about
Definitely.
how long it takes to get dressed, and when you're proficient at it and you do it all the time, you don't even think about it. You just do it, and it doesn't take very long at all.
Yeah. When I had my internship at Colonial Williamsburg, we got dressed every morning, and I definitely got way faster by the end of it. And now I'm out of practice. So
how are you
you
doing?
can see I've been slowly tightening this because my stay lace is not all that long. So this is the back. This is not the front. This is the front. Because I want to be able to do it as much by myself as possible. So now what I'm going to do is slowly turn it around. Now, my shift sleeves, the reason that my shift is coming off of my shoulders is that I made this to fit me before I washed it. And then after I washed it, my arms shrank. So I'm a very risque version. But the neckline in general, like Alicia was talking about, it's a very low scoop neck. This is really too tight of a sleeve. You shouldn't have sleeves this tight most of the time. But for 1790s, they are a little bit more narrow than you see for 1770s or some of the early
And it is
ones.
nice. I have to admit,
So, I'm going to shift this around while she's talking about shifts.
there's a fine line between too tight, but just tight enough that you don't have to worry about it bunching up in your long sleeve 1790 outfits, because that makes me cry sometimes.
Okay.
So okay, here we go.
Okay, so
wanna-
I only have one more.
I'm gonna turn around so they can see what you're doing.
Yeah. So
No, we're good.
right now, where are we at here?
Yep.
I'm at the tightening stage, and I only have one more hole to get through, and I'm just gonna have Alicia do it for the sake of time. So as I'm tightening this by myself, you have to get really good at reaching really far up your back to start the tightening process up here, and then you work your way down. So Alicia can do it a lot faster.
So, but the point here is that you can totally lace your own stays when they're back lacing. You just have to work with it, and it takes practice, but you can totally do it. Granted, it's a lot nicer when you have a lot of women lined up in a row and you just do it. But
Release the bottom ones in a minute. So you can already see here the way that these stays are done. I'm not particularly busty, so they don't come out really far, but they're designed to make this kind of come out forward. I guess it's more, you can see it better from the top down. But yeah, I have also gained 20 pounds, I think, since I made these, but they've stretched. And that's what is also really crazy about different materials. I used a really cheap wool that I had found, and that wool did not hold up against all of this.
Do you want more?
Keep going.
Keep going. Make me beautiful.
Make me beautiful, please.
So that's another really great topic, is correct fabrics for stays. And amber stays are beautiful, but I remember when you made them and the first time you realized that they had stretched.
Mm-hmm. It was really devastating. I was very sad. Okay, that's tight enough. Yeah.
Plenty tight. All right. So I'm gonna flip you here. So no.
Where am I going?
Okay. So this is what I'm gonna do with her ties on the bottom.
I usually wrap them around me a couple times.
You wanna?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So because my stay laces are always so long, I just wrap them around real quick and then tie them after that. You certainly don't have to, but I like it better than bunching it up and putting it under tabs or stuff, because I always end up having a tail afterward.
I know there's this whole
So,
thing about
These are my stays, vavoom. And this is a comfortable squeezing in. I don't know how small my waist is right now. I've also not eaten anything yet today, so that helps.
But it doesn't really matter. We're not. 18th century is not really about the small waist. But
I'm surprised that I got here though.
We're just ladies. We're just late like that this morning.
Okay. So now that we are both laced in our stays, we're gonna quickly get through the rest of it because this is what takes the longest amount of time.
All right. So I have my bum roll on. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah,
I don't wear a pocket simply because I'm always running around in the shop answering questions. I have no need for a pocket. If I had a need for a pocket, I would wear a pocket. But this is like a typical 1790s-ish bum roll. The style was to have that kind of cleft back here, and ours are padded. Mine's with wool. Yours is with wool too.
Mine is with wool.
So then what I do is I put another petticoat on over. I don't know. Do you do that too, Amber? Do you put another one on over your bum, or do you just put your?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay. So we both put petticoats on her. Okay. So this is a great story. I've had this since I started reenacting. Right. It's completely not historically accurate, but I do put it on because it's my over petticoat, my over under petticoat. So just so we're clear about that.
I did want to say that you can see a bunch of different bum shapes in the. I think
The bum shop.
Yeah, it's called the Bum Shop, and there are a couple of others. There's one that's called the Cork Rumps and stuff. Now, what's cool about the Cork Rumps is that they're a different shape, and we are wearing the rumps that have, you know, the cleft in the back, which is a really stylish thing when you have the Italian back gown, because that point for an Italian back comes really far down and makes it look like you have two very round cheeks. But I can show you with my Felicity doll.
Haley says, I wish I don't have to go back to work. I want to see all this when it's done. It's so fascinating.
Oh my goodness, I apologize, people. Okay, so, oh my gosh. This is out of control. I'm going to put my hair here. Okay, so I made a Felicity doll that actually has a lot of the same elements that I have. She has the same fabrics that I've used. And she also has stays just like mine. You can see they're both bound in leather. They're both made of the same wool. And I made them, it's pretty much the same pattern, but because she's supposed to be a young girl, I didn't want her to be too sexy. So that's the reason for her shape there. But I was looking at the caricature for the corks, the cork rumps, and the shape is a lot different than this thing. And I made one for Felicity because I didn't want to use up all of that wool as an experiment. So
Cynthia says cute.
She's wearing this one. Hold on. Let me take her off her clothes. Okay, so let's get her petticoat off.
So the reason Amber did this was because when we're in the shop working, we get an awful lot of comments and questions about what we're wearing. And a lot of times they want to know specifically about undergarments, so we're always like picking up our skirts. And we thought...
So she even has bums, just like me.
Yes, they match. We thought that this would be a really good idea. Actually, that's Amber's idea, to do the Felicity. So we can have the Felicity here, so when people are asking, they can see without us like lifting up our garments. And so, okay, so I'm on to my final petticoat, my over petticoat. And as you can see here, it's got the two pieces, right? So this is a cotton one because it is 1790. After the American Revolution, cotton was a little more prominent for things. So if you look at this is the back, this is the front. This is a lot smaller than the back is. And the reason for that is because when you put it on, you need to have access to your pockets. So usually the back one is going to be longer and is going to wrap around. So you can see how it is pleated, right? And this one is hand sewn. I did pink. So I have a huge collection of original pinkers, and I think I have like, I don't know, like 9 original pinkers. And so this was done with an original 18th century pinker. And I know they're very hard to find, even people reproducing them these days. So we're just going to go over this. The short one is in the front. Okay, I'm going to back up just a little bit here. Hey, Taylor. Okay, so here's my cleft. I don't know if you guys can see my cleft just yet, but it kind of goes down a little bit. That's what you want for 1790s. Different gowns require different bum rolls. So my ties are very long. And normally because my jacket peplums in the 1790s, 1780s, 1790s will hide a little bit of that. My ties are really long, the ones that wrap around. So I will,
No, that makes it too long. Never mind.
tie them here in the back with a bow. Because I can do this morning. I can tie a bow without looking, I promise.
Okay. So I just put on my under petticoat that goes over my thing. As Alicia's putting on her over petticoat.
Yep.
I wanted to show you guys the difference in bum rolls. So because I didn't want to use a bunch of wool for a bum that would be my size, I made one for Felicity. This is the same shape that you see in the cork rumps engraving thing, and it's very, very different. It's an earlier style, and what it does is instead of having all of the emphasis out in the back, it's going to give you emphasis on the sides, much like beignets
so
do.
Cute.
And when you put a pair of or a petticoat on with it, it really does look like she has a small pair of panniers.
Or false hips for those of you who aren't familiar with the lingo.
Right, without having the pockets. And they could be various sizes. Actually, I probably should have made it smaller. But we see the bum rolls that are more of a moon shape, and that's for what I always think of as a Renaissance era type of silhouette where you just have a tiny little bump. But yeah, this really gives some oomph out the side. So eventually I will make myself a pair of these with the wool and the Osnaburg linen. But for now, Felicity gets to enjoy them. So I did want to show you guys the difference in them because we're dressing ourselves. So
Yeah. Information is good, right? Her bow says, "Hi, Tyler. Hey, Taylor." So hard to read from the small screen. Okay, so this is the jacket that I chose today. We actually got a whole bunch of this fabric, and I divvied it out to the shop girls, and I had them make a jacket. And I said you could do whatever you wanted, but we were going to stay in the 1780s, 1790s time frame, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is what I chose. This is from an example that's held in a Canadian museum. I'm sorry, I don't remember which one. Wait, what does Becky say? I love the idea of using the Felicity doll. May have to steal that. Yeah, I think it's a really great idea. So this actually, the original has a matching petticoat with pink trim on it. I have not got around to making the matching petticoat, but that's okay because in the 1790s, you did see different bottoms for your, how do I explain this so people don't go like racing and getting different bottoms for their jackets. So you can have a quilted petticoat with your jacket. In the 1790s, you can have different color petticoats with your jackets, but a lot of times earlier it was matching. So you have to, so it kind of goes, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It kind of goes in spurts.
And you really do see a lot of them that are just with the plain white petticoats, and those could be made of really fine cotton, or in my case, this is a nice taffeta. I'm hoping that I don't sit in anything pigmented today. But yeah, so having a different color for your jacket, there are lots of plates that show this type of combination. But we do have to make sure that when you look at plates, that doesn't necessarily mean that people were wearing it. That just means that's what the fashion people were putting out there.
Right. It's like looking at the Vogue magazine.
Right.
Like, would you do that on an everyday basis? Probably not. So, what about corsets for court dresses? Are there any difference? Well,
Not
because
that I know of.
not that I know of. I mean, because we're here and we're not overseas. I guess honestly, Mattia, I haven't really focused on that. So I don't want to give you false information. So I don't think there would be, but I really don't know. I'm sure
We can look into it, definitely.
Yeah, if you were going to court, you know, you may actually have like a fancy court pair of stays to make sure you have the silhouette that is sought after for the time, because you don't want to go to court and then not be in fashion. Okay, so here we go. If you've seen my other videos, you've seen, oh, and here's more pins too. You've seen the ties around the waist, 1780s, 1790s. Yes, we did have ties around the waist, and the whole point of that is to, so if I don't have a tie around the waist, you can see it's not very, it's, I don't know, it's just kind of baggy. I hate baggy, ill-fitted clothing. I need, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So by doing this, having these ties, we pull this in, and then once we're all finished, you're going to be able to see that it helps hold this center down, helps make everything really nice and flat, and
oh no, my hair's falling.
I know, mine is too. Well, I haven't even finished my hair
Yeah,
yet.
we didn't really focus on her hair this morning. So
Okay.
so yeah, she was talking about fitting. If you're making your garments for yourself, it's a lot harder to actually get a really good fit. I keep having the issue of I'll make the dress with my padded form at home, but yet I still have this much in the front that just won't go away.
Which is actually, we do see a lot of originals with that little triangular piece added, so it's not like it's never done. So if that happens to you, don't fret. Just add that triangular piece in the front.
It's normal.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now both of our garments are pinned to ourselves. So I'm wearing a gown. You can see this is my gown.
It's so pretty.
And this is my new one for this year.
And having the bum roll under it, you know, we were talking about updating. Do you want to talk a little bit about that with your, because you made the gown for
I made the gown for 1770s. I have very few actual, this is my only dress other than my Italian gown, which is all taffeta. Yeah. So I don't have any good day dresses that I could wear, and I wanted a good solid one that had all of, like, it could really classify as anything. So I did one of these same fronts instead of having a stomacher, because those are a little bit more typical of the earlier fashions, but not necessarily so. You see it really across the board. But yeah, this particular one has a really deep point. You can see here, this is about how deep the point is, and I squared it, but what I can do is I can actually make it where it's pointed by curling them in a little bit. Right. So I did think about these things as I was making this dress, and there are other things that I could do as well to further make it for the 1790s. For instance, with arm ruffles, there are lots of portraits that depict, and fashion plates that depict an extra ruffle that resides about 2 to 3 inches above. So if you wanted to take your normal 1770s gown, if it, you know, had decent attributes and you wanted to liven it up, you could add just an extra ruffle here, and that looks perfect for the 1790s. And eventually, hopefully, we can have like flashcards or some sort of cool graphic that we could show you what we're actually talking about. But if you check out some portraits, that would be a really easy way to update for this time period. So I'm going to pin myself in just so I don't have to hold this together.
Yep. So, okay, so what we're doing with pinning, I'm going to come up really close here. Maybe that's a little too close. Okay, so here's my pins. They're just regular stick pins. And when you're pinning, you're going to pin into your stays, okay, and you're going to pin in this way for the first piece. And I always take and I pull the fabric a little bit, and I pin in, and it's not going to hurt you. Like, you're not going to feel it. Okay, so then you have this flap down here, and I always pin that flap because that's why you have your busk in there to help hold that down. So make sure you're pinning your bottoms. And and this is actually okay, check this out. So look how much I overlapped it. And all I did is I took a running stitch and I ran it right up the front. So when I fluctuate, as we all do, I did this on the other side too. Look how much I folded over. None of this has stays in or anything at all, because my stays are taking care of that, so I don't need anything in the front to do that. But I think it's very important for us ladies who are always changing it to have this available. So let's say I try it on, you know, next year or whatever, or and I need to pull some out so I can still wear this, because you want to get as much use out of it. And I think this is a very good way to do this, and very historical as well. So, because I know if it was me and I was living in the 18th century and I made this jacket and I had so much material to do it, I knew I was going to get my trim out of it, I would try and fold over as much as I could in the front so I would have extra room in case I needed to let it out at any time. So, okay. And I'm a huge fan of these zone front gowns, and this one is interesting because it's the only zone front gown that I have seen that is actually the same material. And again, this was from a museum in Canada. So
a lot of the reason for that zone front is because you have that jut out forward, and a wrinkle ends up, you can see I've got a wrinkle here, and you can take that away if you adjust the pleat and have more of a zone front type of thing.
Right.
I'm not all pinned in, so you can't actually see what it's doing. But it does create a natural pleat here, and if you just take that in where your natural silhouette is for this period, it actually just makes it, which is kind of cool.
And I like it because I've always had a larger, my rib cage is rather large versus my waist. So I like the illusion it gives of, I don't know, I just feel like it's a very flattering look on me. So I'm big into the zone fronts.
I stuck myself.
Here we are, like, pinning away. You can never have enough pins. You can never have enough ribbons.
So this dress, like I said, when I draped it on myself, it looked great on the form. And I tried it on a couple times. It seemed to fit. And then when I actually put it on at an event, I discovered that it did not completely fit. So what I'm going to do is just pin it in place to where everything is nice and smooth, and then I'm going to cover it up.
We do this often. So when I think we were at Feast of the Hunters Moon, we were at some event last year, and I tried on my striped dress, and it did not close up here. So all we did is we put a fancy apron over it, or we cover it with a breast knot, because that's a really great way to disguise it. So there are ways to get around certain malfunctions of.
Yeah. Okay. The other way to get around that is to just keep a piece of your fabric on hand, and then you pin it like a stomacher.
Right.
And then nobody knows, but ouch! I got myself.
This one's bent.
Okay. Right. Okay, so I am now pinned in. You can see that right here there's a jut forward. This is because I'm too big for this dress. But
that's very stylish for the period, so
it is.
It works.
The nice thing about this period also is the plethora of kerchiefs that you can use. So I have a regular kerchief that's just a large triangle here. Then I have a black organza one, which was also very fashionable to have in conjunction with these, but it's worn a different way, so I'll show you how they wore it. And then I also have a ruffled one. You can wear all of them at the same time if you want, because they're really like jutted out forward, voluptuous kerchief. What it is depicted a lot in both portraiture and in fashion plates. So so yeah, this is what I like to do. I like to start off with my regular one. And spread it out to where I know that it's going to cover me and I don't have to worry about it. So, the other thing that you see for this one is that a lot of their kerchiefs don't necessarily get tucked down into their dress. They're just kind of like this.
They lay lovely. That's my word for this morning. Lovely.
Loverly.
Loverly.
And then, again, you just pin it into place. Also, we're working off of the camera as our only mirror.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
That's really showing today. Normally this doesn't show so much. I'm not sure. That's okay. It's gonna be awesome anyway.
Right.
So I chose to wear my neckerchief or fichu or whatever terminology you guys are using tucked in. Amber's gonna put hers on the outside. She's gonna be all fancy schmancy.
All right. And I always like to have. Oops, I pulled my thing out. Have somebody adjust this sucker because it's very sad when it is not even in the back and someone takes a picture of it.
Yes.
I'm
Very
devastated
much.
every time it happens. Okay.
Terry says it's a nice dress. Thank you.
Where did my other pen go?
Here, do
Oh, here it is.
So some things that I would recommend is to get you guys a pin holder. Good morning.
You're right next to the doctors, aren't you lucky?
We are next to the doctor, so if we can't help people, we can send them your way.
That's right. If they have a reaction to anything, you just send them our way.
I don't know where my thing is, but anyway, stick pins in a little case with a top, which is on the floor. You can find these in antique stores. It's got a little mirror, which is kind of nice, but a little pin cushion on top. So these are metal. Emily says we're making her so happy right now.
Okay.
Yay! But these are really important, so get one for yourself because you're gonna need it to pin in. You can never have enough pins. See, things like that. I don't like things like that. I have to fix that.
Okay. So the next thing that I'm doing is using my ruffled one, which is ruffled about 2 times. Yeah, this is 2 times the length, so this is about the level of ruffle that you'll get. And this ruffle is 2.5 inches wide. It's a little bit wider than I would like because if it's a smaller ruffle, it's actually going to stay up a little better and be a little bit more happy. So this is a saddish ruffle, but it's nice and big. So anyway, there are lots of things depicting this style of kerchief where it's very big in the front and it's all pinned around like this. And as you can see, it completely covers up the fact that my dress is too small.
How do you stay cool in sweltering heat?
Linen. So much linen.
The other thing is my sleeves are not lined.
Yes.
So that's another way to go about it. The lining in my jacket is so very thin. It's almost non-existent. There's ways to do it. Plus, when you think about it, like we have all these petticoats underneath, but the air is able to circulate. So linen. You don't have to line your arms, and even your linings in your gowns can be very, very thin. So that's what we would suggest. And water. Drink lots of water.
Yes, drink lots of water.
Have a fan.
Now, we are very fortunate this weekend. We don't have the sweltering heat that we did last year.
Yeah.
Last year it was really, really awful. So we're glad that we have really
But we did tough it out in long sleeves. All
We
weekend
did.
long.
We did.
We did. We totally did. So I have some silk ribbon here. And it kind of matches nicely. I'm not a very good bow maker. Amber is an amazing breast knot bow maker. So the one thing in your 1790s outfits, 1780s, 1790s outfits, is that if you're not gonna, well, you could even put a bow on over this if you really wanted to. Best answer ever, Linda. Yeah.
Natural fibers are awesome, Becky. We agree.
Yeah, polyester uniforms. Oh man.
Yeah, I can't.
I remember
cannot
those
imagine.
days. I remember those days.
Okay. Are we secure? I think so.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, so so these are the 2 kerchiefs that give a very voluminous kind of look. You can arrange it however you would like it to be. I've seen some that the ruffle comes clear out to the sides or past the break of your shoulder, but I don't necessarily like it that way. I like it a little bit further in, which is why I do the kerchief underneath, so I can still get a little bit more volume out this way. So
the
I
thing
look like
for
I have
the-
a bosom now.
For the shop, this is really pretty, just hanging down.
Huh?
Your hair is awesome. It looks like you had a really rough night, which you did. You were up sewing all night long.
I did. My husband is going to be a dandy this weekend.
Yeah,
and
we'll have to get photos.
buttonholes.
What was
all
I?
night.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something really important, and now I forgot what it was.
Oh no.
I did. I can't think of what it was. I'll have to.
Okay, so this is the black kerchief that I was telling Alicia about. So these, I kept seeing them pop up in different manners, portraiture and we're dropping things now, in both portraiture and in fashion plates, and I kept noticing that the way that they use these are very different. So I made mine out of silk organza.
Sailors are not allowed in the shop.
And what you do is make sure that point is close to the middle. We're going to say that's the middle for now.
I'm gonna say that's
Oh.
the middle.
Alicia's got me.
I'm gonna help her
She's
be
got
on
my back,
point.
literally. So what you do is you have these actually hit your shoulder, and then you tie them around as such. And it's a really fun kind of accent.
Hey, you got it.
Well, let's see. Let's see if it stays.
We weren't sure. We weren't sure if we're gonna get it tied around this morning.
Short. You just gonna knot it?
Yep.
It's good. Good commentary, Patrick.
I'm trying to
I can't
tie.
help you
I'm trying to
if you
tie
want.
this tiny little thing if you can't see it. And so you get this really cool. Yeah, I'll wear it like this today. That's fun. You get this really cool off the shoulder, very sassy type of look. And oh no, it didn't tie.
Sassy,
Tie
that's so
me.
funny. So the one thing I remembered what I was gonna say, is that so Amber and I want to be somewhat fashionable. We don't want to be out of fashion, but
no.
we're not like a fashion plate. Like we
You
have to work.
use
We have an
less.
actual job we have to do. So, you know, our clothing is very sensible, but it is. It's, you know, it's not like dirt poor clothing. Like,
Right,
We're
it-
nice middle class, like working people clothing. So
Right. So, anyway, this is, I'm sure you guys have seen it. You probably just didn't recognize it, but a lot of them have it where it's depicted off the shoulder. I cut mine as more of a U, so it would fit with my back a little bit better, and it does work pretty well.
look at this sad excuse for a breast knot. Help me, please. Help
Oh,
me.
I have a whole bucket of them.
Yeah, I know. I want one to match. Do you have a red one? The other thing is we love to share ribbons. Sharing ribbons is a good thing. I know. Watch them sailors. I'm telling you.
There you go.
Are you guys going to are you using curlers or rag ties for your hair? This is Amber's hair that we did yesterday.
And it's falling down a little bit. You can see that. I look like I've had a really rough night.
But not too bad. We're gonna take.
I'll put it back up.
Yeah, we're gonna take the curling iron or the
Here you go.
beautiful. Yay. I'll trade you.
Okay.
We're gonna take the curling irons and we're gonna get them heated so we can fix her. She can fix her hair. I still have to put my hair up. I did put it in rollers last night, so I tried this new recipe for Victorian hairspray, and I'm actually quite pleased. Like, you know the film on your hair when you put hairspray in it, like you can just feel it on there. I feel that on my hair, so we may be having Victorian hairspray in the shop. I don't know, it's in rose water and it just smells amazing. So I did use foam rollers last night. Amber used, when she did hers the night before, she used toilet paper rolls. And if you want to check that video out, it's in segments because out on the field we had some internet problems, we had some phone problems. But definitely
What do we
check
want?
that out.
What do we want? There's this one.
That's pretty.
Sensible or Vavoom.
We could match. Do
We
you
could
wanna
match with our nuts.
Okay.
We
Vavoom.
might as well.
We're
You
gonna
know.
match today. We're gonna match. What's gross, Emily? Oh, you mean like the stuff on your hair with the hairspray? Yeah. Victorian hairspray that smells good. Sign me up. Yeah, I mean I'm really impressed. Like, you know, my hair's really fine, so it's not the greatest curl holder, but I think it's holding really well, actually. So. As I'm eating my hair. So yeah, so now we just have to finish hair. I have a cap just in case. I wasn't sure if I was gonna wear my wig because it's not gonna be really hot today. But like, if you don't have to wear a wig, we don't wear wigs unless we have to, or I should say, you never have to wear a wig. I never wear wigs unless I have to. I will wear them inside if we have inside events. Outside events, I will either like put a cap on or fix my hair with hair pieces in such a way that I don't really need a wig. Mattia says, so you are dressed like middle-class women, high-class society women, or middle-class women, high-class society women. I think you look gorgeous, girls. Well, thank you so much.
We are dressed up as fashionable, whatever you can afford type of thing for the middling class.
Yeah, we're definitely middling class. We are not, we are not high society.
But our goal, like she was saying, to be fashionable for a long time has actually been to be more like what the different caricatures and plates depict. There's the Pretty Barmaid, that's one, the Pretty Milliners, the Happy Milliners. Yeah. There are lots of depictions of very fashionable women in these trades, and because Alicia's an apothecary, we really wanted to highlight that while also looking like those fashion plates. Right. So that's more of our goal, I guess, and yeah. So I'm just gonna adjust myself as we go. But this is a really quick way to get your regular 1770s dress to look like a 1790s thing. Another idea is to take a belt.
I used to get my belt.
And which was something I had thought about doing as well.
Yeah, let me grab my belt box.
And I do have a fashionable, very frou-frou silk organza or silk gauze apron that I can wear as well. So if we want all of the ruffles, which people certainly did,
absolutely adorable.
It's a lot of ruffles.
Yeah, this is definitely a later.
This
apron.
is a later style of apron with this much froof.
Yes.
But there are lots of ruffled aprons all throughout the 18th century, but they get really kind of exaggerated toward the last quarter.
Yep. So what do I carry stuff in? Because I always like to see what other people carrying stuff in. So I have a neckerchief box, believe it or not, where I like fold all my neckerchiefs really nice, except the one I couldn't find this morning. And then I have hair pieces boxes because I use our gift boxes for the hair pieces boxes. I use them for all kinds of stuff. This is my late 18th century belt box. So I have all kinds of like velvet ribbons, wide velvet ribbons. This is an original like wide silk ribbon. And then I have old antique belt buckles. This is a snake belt buckle because you have to have a snake belt buckle. So I have all kinds of little boxes for everything to try and keep organized. Because when you're on the road, traveling out of trunks, you need some sort of organization. And the bagpipes mean that we are open to the public, I think, is what the bagpipes mean. That's really beautiful.
So let me step a little bit further back. Oh no, the wind is catching me now. But yeah, you can see kind of the whole gamut. And if you want to put a fun hat with it, the large hats were just barely going out of style by the end of this period to more close ones. But I have an unadorned hat.
And then we're the never-ending story buckle. Oh, yeah! I never thought about that.
And if I want to go out, I can trim out my hat, and I have a full complete outfit. So that's how I take my 1770s too.
Should we do black or red belts?
Ooh, I think the black would be pretty.
The black. Okay. See, and this is so much fun when you get to dress with other girls, and it's not just yourself. It's hard to decide, on the fashion statement you want to make when it's just yourself.
Yep. So I'm gonna go fix my hair. I think I'm out of things to say.
Okay.
So if you guys have any questions, you can still ask them. Alicia can yell them to me. But I really need to address this hair and do some TLC.
TLC. Okay, so this is one of my favorite belts. It's an original silk ribbon. It's really wide. And so far so good. I'm gonna use it until I can't use it anymore. But basically, like in the 1790s, belts were a thing. So you want to make sure to add a belt to your I got some really awesome colors going today. So I know usually Amber fixes my bows. No, I'm good. You can fix it later. We'll have to fix our hair yet. So, all right. Keeps telling me I have low battery. Okay, so this is basically our shop outfit. Like we said, we're not the wealthy of the wealthy, because if we would be in this. But, you know, we want to be like fashionable shopkeeper, you know, middle class, and we want to show people that not only are we concerned about their health and wanting to make sure they have the correct ingredients and making things for them, that, you know, we are women and we are concerned about fashion, because like every woman in the 18th century, regardless if you're poor or you're rich, there was always that want to try and obtain the highest fashion possible within your class. I'm still
fixing my hair.
All right, so with that, we heard the bagpipes. If you didn't hear them, that means our shop is open. We have to do a few more things. I gotta figure out what I'm doing with my hair. We'll probably take a few pictures and post them.
You got 30 minutes to get your hair ready.
Oh, we are so ahead of schedule. That's amazing. That is
For
absolutely
once.
amazing. For once. You guys,
This might be the second time.
this is amazing. We're never ahead of schedule. We thought it opened at 9, but I guess it opens at 10. So this is
Right.
excellent. We will take some photos, and the differences in 1880s, oh Lord, 1780s and 1790s makeup. That's a really great question. I think we should save that for another day. We are definitely going to do makeup tutorials for you guys, so we can get everything sussed out and answer your questions on those. I would love to do them. My phone says it's almost dead for whatever reason. It's the Mercury retrograde, I swear. So anyway, yes, we will talk about the differences in makeup, but just not in this one. The other thing I just want to mention is I learned a really great tip, was that when you are fitting yourself, don't squeeze this too tight. You know, these ladies just need to kind of sit here, be very natural. You don't want things like popping up over. So that was my tip for the day. And yeah, makeup and hair tutorials. I promise, guys, we will do it. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, and we are going to sign off. I don't think that's our alarm. That's Amber's alarm. Is that in case you overslept?
Yep.
Boy, you have a...
Normally Amber's the one who wakes up in the morning and she's like, good morning, time to get up. So, okay, anyway, bye guys. Thanks again. Have a wonderful time. I'll be pulling out the 1747 lip balm I got from y'all at Locust Grove. Have a lovely day at work. Thanks. Thanks, Whitney. Bye-bye. How do I turn it off? Finish.